and welcome to Iris Carbon webinar on latest update with 2023 ESEF filings. We will be starting with the webinar soon. Waiting for almost 4 minutes away from our webinar. We will be starting it soon. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Iris Carbon's webinar on getting ready for ESEF 2023 filings. We will be starting in a couple of minutes. We'll be waiting for 1 minute and we will get started. Okay, it's the time. Hello, everyone, and very good morning. I'm Anushri, and I will be moderating this session today, along with our speakers, Preetham and Roberto. Preetham is an IXBRL domain expert and working with Iris since the past few years. Roberto is our guest speaker today, and he will be sharing his experiences with Iris Carbon and total ESEF filing all these years. Before we start with the journey of Iris Carbon, I would like you to go through a few housekeeping announcements. All the participants are muted. During the entire webinar, please put your questions in the Q&A session. To keep the session interactive, we have certain polls, which we will be launching in mid of the updates of ESEF filings. So I request all the participants to participate in the polls and please keep the questions coming. We will be taking questions on the fly and answering them as much as possible. At the end of the webinar, we have some exciting news for our attendees today. And also we will be sharing this PPT, the presentation, with all the attendees of the webinar. Once again, whoever has joined a little late, hello everyone, good morning, and welcome to Iris Carbon ESEF webinar on 2023 ESEF filing. Getting started with it. I'm Anushri. I will be moderating this session today. Along with me, we have Preetham Agarwal, who will be speaking about the updates, and we have Roberto from Eni, who will be presenting his experiences about the ESEF filing, and he will be sharing all his thoughts on the ESEF filing with us today. So let's get started. At any point of time, any question and answers, please put in the Q&A box. All the participants are muted, and we are welcoming all the questions. Okay, let's get started. Our agenda today, I will be briefing a little bit about ourselves. We will be looking after the annual report 2023 ESEF preparation, all you need to know. We'll be covering the aspects of the taxonomy, the building of the company taxonomy. Don't worry, nothing more very much technical. but just the hint of the things which you need to remember during your filing of your ESEF reports. Okay. Next is the block tagging. So a very interesting update about the block tagging. We will be covering this session in the text block tagging presentation. And then we have the guidance on UKSEF taxonomy. Then the floor will be turned to Roberto, who will be sharing his experiences. And we have the open floor for Q&A session as well. So let's get started. About us, we are Iris Business Services Limited, a listed company in the RegTech space, 18 years plus in digital reporting, presence across 50 countries across the globe. Wherever there is XBRL, IXBRL, need of compliance, we are there. So almost half of the countries, we are there. Working with the regulators, relentlessly implementing XBRL and providing solutions to them. 6,000 plus clients across the globe. We have the deep market expertise in XBRL and IXBRL domain and have 2 our credits, lots of accolades. We operate in 3 segments: collect, create, and consume. Where in collect, we collected the data, offered the taxonomy and consultation. Our product suite includes Iris iFile. We'll come to that a little later. Create segment of ours helps you with compliance sector, not only or limited to, but it includes the part of creation of your submissions. Iris Carbon is one such compliance platform currently available for Create. We also operate in the consumption segment, wherein we consume the data which is there and draw the analytics. Iris iConnect is one of the solutions which drives you into the consumption space of data. So with this, we have the select global clients across Europe, across the globe, but here we are covering with the Europe. We are extremely, happy to have Eni with us, Renault, Petrol from Slovenia, Fluxus, Reka, Optomed, and to name a few. But yes, the list is like going on, and we are very happy and proud to add new logos to our list. Here is a glimpse of our product suite. We come with a rich experience in XBRL, IXBRL domain, but along with that, we believe in expanding our product suite with helping the corporates and cater to CFO's office. With this, we bring in our disclosure management platform integrated with Microsoft 365. It is a collaborative platform wherein you can not only author, but also take a look at all the kind of reports, whether financial or non-financial. Our happy users say that we save approximately 30 to 40% of their time. That is a big time for CFO's office while authoring any kind of reports. You want to know more? Please do get in touch with us. ESG, the talk of the town. Yes, we do have offerings from the ESG perspective, conversion into the digital reporting. We work with the recently released as well as existing taxonomies in the ESG space as well, including ISSP, GRI, and ESRS. XBRL, IXBRL reporting, our domain expertise. We cater to the markets like US SEC, FERC, ESMA, ESEF, UK HMRC, so on and so forth. So these are the segments which we were speaking about a while back. Iris iConnect comes from the consumption space. XBRL, IXBRL comes from the create space. iConnect, we use the data which is collected, submitted on the regulator's portal. So we do not store your data without your permission, but we consume the data which is submitted at the repository, regulator's repository, and use it to draw analytics. This is all about us. And thank you once again for joining us. And now turning my screen to Pritam, who will be taking you through the updates of Annual Report 2023 ESEF preparation. All you need to know. Floor is yours, Pritam. Please go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Anushree. Thank you for the nice introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome for the ESEF webinar presentation. Now I will walk you through the entire webinar and let's see what is in store. for you that you need to know and make this filing season a grand success this year as well. Moving ahead, let's talk about the key updates on 2023 ESEF report filing. So basically, this update has been categorized into two different categories, wherein first will impact the submission and the other will not impact the submission. It not impact the submission, that doesn't mean we will not be making the document of good quality. Yes, we will be focusing the entire report for a good quality and a better results for the ESEF upcoming season. So when we talk about the files that are going to impacting the submission, yes, the first one comes into our mind is the ESMA ESEF 2022 taxonomy. Since last year, it was voluntarily used 2022 taxonomy for all the ESEF filings wherein vendors or filers can go ahead and choose depending on the requirement and use the latest taxonomy. But this year onwards, every filer, every vendor whom you are choosing, they have to comply with the latest ESEF version 2022 version 1.1 taxonomy. This also comes.
I think we should take a pause. I think there is some issue with my screen sharing. Just give me a bit. I will reshare my screen. So sorry for the inconvenience. Let me share my screen again. So sorry. Okay. Let me just. So sorry. I'll just get it started. To you, Preetham. I hope my screen is visible, Preetham. Please confirm.
Yes, yes, Anushree. Can you keep it in the slide mode?
Can you see this?
Slide mode, I cannot see.
I think there is a lag. I just. So sorry. Just give me a second, please. I'll just figure it out. Yes, Preetham, you should see now. There is a little bit of lag from my side, but the content should be visible. Please go ahead.
Yes, Anushree. So coming back again, so we will have an impact on the submission. I was talking about the ESEF latest taxonomy that has to be used for this filing season and onwards. So when we are going to use 2022 taxonomy, we will come up with the latest conformance suit as well, which will be coming along with the taxonomy, and this also has to be incorporated when you are going to use 2022 taxonomy. So when we say will not impact the submission, that doesn't mean that we will not be catering to the better quality of the document. But yes, we will definitely look for the quality of the document. For that, we have certain pointers which is good to have on the XBRL document. So first one comes with the block tagging, wherein last year we have been given mandate to create the block tagging for the individual notes on the XBRL report, wherein monster level tagging was one which was required a single tag for entire notes to financial statements, right from note number 1 to the end of the note, which is now no longer needed. Then we come up with the extensions. Yes, few documents definitely require some extensions, but that has to be limited. But when we are going to do for extensions, we do require to follow IFRS 2023 elements as a base to create that taxonomy extensions, which will definitely help the issuers not to create any specific labels for their own requirement. But yes, if you are going to follow 2023 taxonomy, then definitely it is going to help you in creating the extension, it will be easier for you.
Just a second. I think there is some issue with the screen sharing. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just figuring it out. I'm so sorry for this. Are you able to see my screen now, Preetam?
Yes, Anushri. Yes.
With the slide and all?
Yes, Anushri.
Okay. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes. So when we discuss about the extensions, yes, anchoring is one update which needs to follow the extensions of the element in the ESMA reporting. So when we talk about anchoring, when we are going to extension, we definitely require anchoring to be done with the base element from standard taxonomy. But do we need to do wider or narrow element anchoring? We will see in the updated next slides for this. So these are key updates from the ESMA ESEF 2022 versions. Sorry, Anjali, can you go back?
Yeah.
Yes. So another talks about the text block tagging hierarchy, which is being proposed by Expiral Europe Best Practice Working Group, who is designing that hierarchy so that issuers or the vendors can follow the structured hierarchy. Because till last year, it was no structured hierarchy, which makes the reviewers difficult to analyze the text block taggings. Last but not the least, it's the UKSEF taxonomy guidance, which is new in the market for the UK filers who is going to use UKSEF taxonomy needs to follow some guidelines that will help them to create their external document. So moving on to next slide. So yes, when we talk about ESMA 2022 taxonomy, that is version 1.1, the latest version taxonomy, which is has to be used by each and every filers, whether you are doing yourself or you are choosing any outsourcing vendors to create your XBRL files. So this taxonomy comes with a small change with 1.1 version, and there are minimal 3 changes that has been taken care in this taxonomy version. So first talks about the label correction. Yes, we have a label correction for the French label for the element goodwill explanatory, which is a text block element. Second update comes on the abstract element. So till last year, there were 2 different standard labels which were defined in the taxonomy, but this year onwards, only the ESMA defined standard level has to be taken care for the root level abstracts. The third update comes with the percent item type, which basically though we are not using this particular element for our ESEF reporting, but yes, the backend improvement has been done regarding the scaling of the percent item type. So it has been changed from greater than 1 to press between 0 to 1. So these are 3 key updates from the ESEF taxonomy version 1.1 which need to be taken care. So moving on to the next slide. So yes, the next slide updates on key updates for 2023 ESEF filing on the standard levels I was just talking about in my previous slide about the root level abstract, which comes with a specific label in the latest taxonomy version. So as I mentioned in 2021 report, standard report taxonomy, we have 2 different standard labels for the abstract elements, the parent abstract elements, which was IFRS label and ESMA specific label. So now in this version 1.1, this IFRS standard label, specific label has been removed and only the 2022 ESMA specific label has been kept for the ESEF filing. So as you can see on the screen, we have the example set over here, how it looks like in your standard taxonomy. So the below one talks about the ESMA specific label and the first one talks about the IFRS specific label, which is now removed. Yes, I was also talking about the block tagging changes. There has been multiple changes in the block tagging for the related tagging changes for the master level tagging, wherein one single tag is used to tag all the nodes to accounts.
Yeah. So before we go into our next sector of the monster tagging, we have interesting poll for everyone, and we would like everyone to go ahead and take the poll. So I will be stopping sharing my screen for a while and I will be launching the poll right now. So requesting everyone to participate in the poll. I'm just starting with the poll. The question is, are you ready with 2022 ESEF version 1.1 taxonomy? Yes or no? Okay, we are getting votes. Yes. Yes, others, please vote. We are waiting for your votes. We'll be waiting for 10 seconds. Okay, there is a raise of hand. Vaibhav, I can see the hand is raised. You have any question, Vaibhav? Okay, I think we have the result, and most of them say yes, they are ready with the 2022 ESEF version 1.1 taxonomy, and that is the prerequisite of filing a error-free document with the regulator. So thank you so much for voting in the poll. Back to our presentation. Back to you, Preetham. I am sharing my screen in a moment.
Thank you, Anshri.
Yes, Preetham, please go ahead.
Yes. So when we come about the monster level of tagging, yes, till last year we have been using this monster tag. As an extract, I have taken a viewer wherein you can see the element on the pop-up, which is disclosure of notes and other explanatory information explanatory. This is the monster tag, which is a single tag, has been tagged for the entire set of notes to accounts. And now this tag is not required anymore for the upcoming seasons. So this will definitely help the reviewers, auditors, and the filers to reduce their time for the review of the document. Talking about the extensions, yes, we can use or we can leverage the IFRS 2023 taxonomy elements for creating any type of extensions we require for our document. Let's say we find an element on the specific company, property, plant, and equipment, wherein this element is not available in the standard ESEF taxonomy. So very well, you can go ahead and find out the similar element in IFRS 2023 taxonomy, wherein you can see the element is a standard element, and you can take all these attributes, labels, tag name for your company specific in your extension in your ESEF taxonomy with a um, prefix as company ticker. So you can see in the example, it has been given as a company specific prefix with the element name and attributes remains the same. So what is the benefit of taking this element from IFRS taxonomy? When we go ahead and roll forward the taxonomy for the next year with the updated IFRS or is with the updated ESEF taxonomy, that point of time, the automatically extension element will be changed to the standard element if the same element is coming into the updated taxonomy in the next year. So you do not have to stress much on the extension company names to think about the names and create an extension. You can very well go ahead and take this from IFRS 2023 element for making your job easier. When we talk about the extensions, yes, extension elements comes with anchoring updates as well. So there is a small change in the guidance 1.4.1 of ESEF reporting manual, wherein if you find if you think you need an extension element that you need to extend before going for an extension, you just can go to your reference taxonomy and find out the appropriate or we say the more wider element available if there is no bifurcation for the specific extension element in the document. So you can go ahead and take the standard element from the ESMA taxonomy and you can use that. But Even if you don't find any element from the ESMA taxonomy, you can very well go and extend it and create a wider anchoring, wherein narrow anchoring will not be required unless and until it is needed. But the idea is behind this is to use the take maximum use of the standard elements available in the reference taxonomy. So you can see the example, the similar element we have used, and that has been categorized or anchored with wider anchoring, and again the same has been done with narrow anchoring. So narrow anchoring is no more required when you are using the standard wider anchoring of the concept. So with this, we complete the update on the latest 2022 ESMA taxonomy and the ESEF filing for 2023 from the taxonomy side.
Thank you, Preetham. There is next session about text block tagging hierarchy. We will be coming back to it, but yes, time for another short break in the sense poll again. I request everyone to participate in the poll. We have Roberto also joining us, but yes, we will be having chat with him in a moment. But first, let's go ahead with our poll. Question, I'm just launching a poll. Please participate. The question says, how many languages do you report? 1, 2, or 3? So in European Union, mostly there are like, 1 or 2 or 3 languages which are needed to be reported depending on the country from where you are reporting. So I'm receiving the answers. Yes, most of them have voted for 2. I will publish the result. Just give me a moment. Yes, attendees, please request you to please go ahead and give your votes for 1, 2, or 3. Okay, I will just publish the result, and most of them say that, we report in 2 languages. That is a dual language reporting. So the tagging work, although, you do it for 2 times, it is very beneficial. One is the local language, and then another one is your English or other language. So that is the information what we get from you. Thank you so much for participating in this poll. Over to you, Preetham. I will be sharing my screen in a while, and Preetham will lead you through the block text hierarchy, which our best practices board have proposed. Over to you, Preetham.
Thank you, Nashri, and welcome back everyone for the updates on ESEF filing. So coming back to the proposed hierarchy text block tagging hierarchy, yes, till last year there was no structured hierarchy proposed that every issuer or the vendors should go ahead and follow the a structured hierarchy, which makes their work easier to compare the document and makes more transparent document. So this was proposed by Experal Euro Best Practice Working Group on November 24, 2022 to make the issuers facilitate with the tagging of ESEF report and create a company taxonomy in a structured format. So this was published by working group on December 21, 2023, which can be used for creating your company taxonomy. Why this has been taken care of? Because in order to suggest a uniform technique, the standard structure should be there, which can be easy for the reviewers to review the entire company taxonomy. And it is basically to remove the usage of nested tagging of the disclosures. Like it will reduce the over tagging of the disclosures in the same extended link role. So how this has been categorized, what best practice group has thought of it. So they have decided this on 2 different criteria wherein the text block elements can be logically grouped as per their accounting meaning on the company taxonomy. And another one, I was talking about the nested tagging. This will minimize the nested tagging level for the company taxonomy. So this is how your text block tagging structure looks earlier when we do not have a hierarchy structured. So when you can see one single element is reported twice in the company taxonomy. One is under the note specific label and another one under the significant accounting policy explanatory extended link role, which means the content is available only once in the document, but the same element has been used at twice the extended link role, which is not good for the comparison and transparency purpose. To overcome this, the block tagging group or the working group has come up with a hierarchy with two options wherein you can group your company taxonomy logically as per the accounting meaning. So option one comes with the specific notes tagging, wherein let's say we have a notes called revenue. So everything related to revenue, all the tags related to the revenue should be appearing under the same structure as level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. But if you go for the option 2, the second option also you can go ahead and use. That is when you are using your policy tag, you can use all the policy elements under one structured extended link rule, which is related to significant accounting policy. So this increases the transparency of the document and company taxonomy becomes easier to review and make the analysis.
Thank you, Preetham, for this detailed explanation on the block text tagging hierarchy, which is released by the Best Practices Board working group on the block tagging. And yes, time for the next poll, a very quick one. I will be resharing my screen in a while after the poll. And I request everyone to go ahead and please participate in the polls. Just give me the... Here is the poll. And the question is, do you yourself do the ESEF tagging? So is this ESEF tagging taken in-house by you? You do it yourself? You do it through vendor? Is there any expert team in-house who does it for you? I repeat my question, do you yourself do ESEF tagging? This question because there are different aspects when you approach to the ESEF filing. If you're doing it in-house, the time on the review is a little bit saved. If you're doing it, if it is outsourced, then definitely review is something which needs to be done either using the same platform or you get the tagged document and you do the review. So just to know it better. I think 75% say that it is outsourced. So yes, the review becomes very important part on this, and knowing the hierarchy or knowing the best practices becomes very integral when you have the document for review purposes. I hope this is helpful. Please, if you have any questions, put it in the Q&A box. We are coming up with the answers super soon. I'm turning my screen again to Preetham, and he will be taking through the last segment of the ESEF updates, which is the UKSEF taxonomy. So over to you, Preetham.
Thank you, Anushri. Hey, welcome again to the presentation. Yes, I hope you are all getting the useful information which is required from this particular webinar. So coming back to the topic, yes, UKSEF taxonomy guidance. This taxonomy guidance has been recently applied and given as like UK filers can go ahead and use UKSEF taxonomy while submitting their report with ESEF and FRC rules and with FRC as well. So how does this work? One single document, we call it a multi-target document, which will be applied to or which will be submitted to both ESEF and FRC rules for the submission. But how this multiple target document works? Yes, we do have a solution for that. So when you use to create the UKSEF report, we definitely are going to use the UKSEF taxonomy, which is a combination of ESEF taxonomy and the FRC taxonomy. So once you create the taxonomy report, you will be submitting with the validation engine. And then the validation engine, what it will do, it will validate the information based on the ESMA specific rules, filing rules, and FRC specific filing rules as well, and on an individual basis. So once this engine validates the document, it will give you the final output for ESEF tagged report and the valid FRC tagged report as well, which can be used to do the further analysis on the taxonomy of the report. So this is how this multi-target document works. So you need to create only one report, which will be validated with both the regulator submissions. So what we need to follow for the UKSEF 2023 tagging guideline? Yes, it is basically required to file for the company house within UK jurisdiction. which comes with a mandatory 19 elements, which has to be applied to the entire report which we are going to create. But yes, there are some categorization for 19 elements as well, wherein the minimum 14 elements has to be applied for all types of accounts, which is audited and unaudited reports. But when we are going for only the group audited report, yes, these additional 5 elements are required when you're tagging the only audited report. But you know what all 19 elements cover up? We have multiple 19 elements, which is coming up in the next slide. And you can see these tags are applied. This should be applied to the UKSEF report when you are creating your taxonomy. This is just an screenshots for all the tags, which definitely help you when you are creating your UKSEF report. We will be definitely sharing this webinar this PPT after the webinar so that you can have a look on it. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us and we will help you. So coming not last least, but not last but least, yes, Iris Carbon solution is covered with all UKSEF taxonomy guidance and the latest ESEF requirement, which will help our issuers, will will help our filers to help them to go for a good quality ESEF report for this season. So let's make this season a grand success and all the best for our issuers. Thank you.
Thank you, Preetham. That was indeed very much insightful for the 2023 ESEF filing. And as Preetham mentioned, we will be sharing this PPT with everyone, with all the attendees over here, and you will be getting all the details, whatever you need to. Before going ahead in our next section with our guest speaker, Roberto, there is a last poll question, which I would like everyone to participate in. It's, does your ESEF vendor support auditing of ESEF documents? So do you have any functionality on the platform which supports the auditing functionalities as well? Like, can it be reviewed by the auditors right away on the vendor platform, or how it can be taken ahead with? I'm waiting for the answers. I'm waiting for the replies. Yes, please keep them coming. Majority of them say yes. Oh, now I have 50-50 votes. Please keep the votes coming. Okay, so we have 57% who say yes, there are functionalities which support the auditing of the ESEF documents, while 37 of them say no. Usually it is always better to have the insight of whatever your ESEF documents are like, because at the end it is the responsibility of the issuer who has submitted the IXBRL document. So it is better to review the IXBRL document because it is the responsibility of the issuer. With that, now we turn our screens and our ears to Roberto. Hello, Roberto. Please welcome to Iris Carbon session.
Hi to everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you, Roberto.
So thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar. I am honored to have been invited by Iris, the Iris team. So I am Roberto Nardi. I am in charge of the group financial statement and financial reports at Eni, with an Italian-based energy company, with also a dual-listed company. So we have a reporting obligation in the European markets, being our primary market in Italy, and then we are also listed at the New York Stock Exchange. So we are a foreign private issuer filer with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. So I have followed with great attention the previous contribution about the block tagging and also answer about questions about the role of the auditor, the role outsourcing versus insourcing. Well, I'm going to try to address also this issue. Our approach to the tagging and the ESEF mandate started several years ago when the European Union began to speak about the new requirements of having annual reports in an electronic hypertext markup language, and then the use of the line technology to have the financial statement marked according to a taxonomy. Our first step was to set up an internal working group from my department and also from the accounting rule department to well understand what tagging was about, the meaning of this new vocabulary to which our financial statement have to be aligned with, and so to tag each line item of the financial statement in order to better understand how tagging function and what was about the process of tagging. Based on this work, we also, for example, streamlined the financial statement by reducing the number of line items, reducing the custom tag, the extension, to standardize the line item, which is one of I believe the best outcome of the use of the XBRL tagging. In doing so, we also understand the difference between the taxonomy endorsed by ESMA and the company taxonomy. So we approached by step to the taxonomy, and then we decided to hire a consultant, a software specialist to help assist us in fulfilling this reporting obligation. Because at this point in time, I am speaking about 2018, 2019, we had gained a good knowledge about the semantic of the process, but we also understand the syntax of the process. So how the entire tagging process would work was a task that we need some help from one more expert than us. We were also in search of not only a software specialist but also of a consultant provider who was well knowledgeable about accounting matters, because at the end of the day, tagging involves an accounting process, like was well explained earlier. So to identify each line item and to find the right tag, the right extension, the anchoring process, and so on. And we scouted the market and we reviewed several providers, and at the end of the day we came through IRIS. The IRIS solution was very well accepted and received by our company, because the first thing that struck us was their knowledgeable about the accounting rules and accounting matters. So we feel that we can have a dialogue with the provider, also to check our knowledge, and also to be able to speak with the auditors in the later phase of the process, and to have the right tag of our financial statements. So not to completely lose grip on the process, but to have a constructive dialogue with a service provider who helped us to complete our knowledge of the process, to fully understand the entire process, and then to perform their part. We also selected the IRIS based on cost consideration, because their offer was admittedly superior with respect to other that we found on the marketplace. The evolution of our collaboration then improved, because we also selected the IRIS to support our reporting obligation with the US SEC, and so we have IRIS on both our reporting obligation to prepare inline XBRL annual reports for both American US reporting obligation and the European listing standards.
Okay. Thank you, Roberto, for this deep explanation about your experience. I would like to understand, Roberto, what approach and process did you have to set up internally for ESEF compliance? So I understand, there was a participation from IRIS support team, there was auditors, you also have dual compliance for SEC and ESEF. So how was the overall process to set up internally for ESEF compliance?
Well, it's a very, very good question. Basically, we started with first of all to check with our IT department the compatibility of our system with IRIS, the IRIS solution, IRIS Carbon solution system, which is based on a Microsoft cloud computing solution, which is very adaptable to our system. And this was the first starting point. Then the very important point is to design a very robust internal process, which just to recall our experience, we have to basically to re-engineering our process starting from the binding date and then coming back to each step until the preparation, the first draft preparation of the annual reports on our side. So, for example, Eni is customary to file its annual reports at the beginning of April. Our accounting process close at the end of January. Then we have by mid-February the presentation to the market of our fourth quarter and preliminary annual figures, and then by mid-March the approval by the board. So alongside this milestone, we planned our activity with the auditors and with IRIS by carefully designing each phase of the process. So first of all, the company has to prepare a draft financial statement, also revisiting the line item of the statements to understand, to note, to find the new line item, to check out the tagging has evolved. Then once that we have prepared our draft, we deliver it to IRIS according to certain deadlines. First of all, the Italian financial statement, because we have to make earlier delivery of Italian financial statement to the board for approval. Then the US SEC financial statement, which are not approved by the board but follows another type of governance. And then we have to provide time for the auditor to perform their function. Normally, the auditor does not have the need to have functionality for performing their jobs on the cloud platform of the provider of IRIS. They use a proprietary tool to check all tags, so the merit of each tags, and then the formal rule of the tagging to verify that each part of the XBRL tagging has been well performed. And so this is the overall process. So a well-designed process with well-identified roles, tasks, deadlines, leave time, spare time, headroom, in order to resolve the problems that might arise. For example, there is a need to insert a new line item in the financial statement, to modify because there is an adjusting event. And so careful planning, careful designing, identifying roles of each protagonist of the whole process, the company, IRIS, the auditors, the internal governance, the board committees, and put together all these pieces around the workflow, no? By well identifying the deadlines and then delivering at each stage of the process. So my first consideration is to establish a strong management system process.
Mm-hmm. That really helps, Roberto. And I see, because Eni, when we see, it's a huge organization, and there are processes driven things which are needed to be taken care of. So I see that these are very, not to say like checkpoints are there at each and every place, which helps you to go ahead and deal with the compliance and other aspects. Thank you for that detailed explanation. Roberto, I have one more and last question to you. Where do you think Iris Carbon has helped you to add value most to Eni?
Yes, thank you for also for this question. Very, very good question. Iris Carbon for us represented a sort of, I'd say, a game changer, because they bring us creativity, a very dynamic process. They helped us to establish a very robust reporting process. This was the very value added by Iris, and above all, the fact that we have found a specialist in accounting matters, not only a software specialist. I believe that this is a very important aspect, because the organization, the company, needs to maintain the visibility on the process, to understand how tagging is progressing, also to maintain the dialogue with the auditor, for example, and not to remain knowledgeable and not unprepared in case the auditor makes you a request, challenge some your solution. So we understand from Iris core aspect of the process, but we completed also our understanding of the accounting tagging of each line item of our financial statement. Then I'd say the level of service. The level of service was another exceptional delivery of Iris Carbon, because the first stage of the process is the planning, the planning and the identification of deadlines. And we along the process, we always feeling that Iris is respecting our deadlines and let us have visibility on the process. For example, in previous experience, we confronted with a sort of black box. For example, we use the service provider for multinational groups. Our files were sent throughout the world. For example, a production center in UK, then the US, then the file returned back to us. But we lost visibility on the process. Instead, with Iris, we have always grip on the process. We have an accounting manager. We is always well informed about how the process is performing. We are conscious about the fact that the file will come back at the right time, the right hour. And these help my team to perform their function more smoothly. In the past, I can testimony about the team being stressed or also at unease, with the fact that they lost visibility about the process. This has not happened with Iris, and this is a very well output of our collaboration, which has been strengthened, because after a couple of years of performing with Iris just the Italian reporting obligation, we decided also to charge them with the SEC reporting obligation, which for us is the main, no, the core reporting obligation, because it is very well, it's more demanding than the Italian one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that detailed explanation, Roberto. And I do agree that, visibility for your own documents, it is matters the most, because after all, it is your data and you need to see what is going to the regulator. So I do agree that, in too much of to and fro of the documents from elsewhere, it was like very easy for you because you had transparency and visibility of your documents. Thank you for trusting Iris Carbon, Roberto. Thank you for taking out time to participate and sharing your experiences with us today in our webinar. I will
Thank
be
you to
now.
you.
Yes, thank you very much. For our attendees, now we will open up the Q&A session. So let me just see if we have, yes, we have certain questions. I think, Preetham, the first one you will be able to take, will issuers face any error in validations if updates not affecting the submission are not complied with?
Yes, it's a good question. Yes, when you are not complying with the guidelines for not affecting the submission, definitely it is not going to come up as an error. Yes, it may show as a warning, which can be ignored. And as I mentioned, like it could be when we are not when it is not affecting the submission. Yes, it is for the better quality of the report. But yes, no errors will be coming in the validation for the things which we are not compliant. This is just a warning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Preetham, for that answer. So if I understand correctly, if there are elements which you are not, incorporated and it is not affecting submission, still they will appear as a warning. So from the quality of ESEF documents, it may hamper the quality of the document, although it is going through across like without errors. Thank you. There is another question which asks, do you have any offerings for ESG? Yes, Iris Carbon do have offerings for ESG. More about ESG, we will be speaking in our forthcoming webinar on 6th of March. And please do join in webinar. From ESG perspective, we do have offerings from authoring point of view, as well as from the digital conversion, that is using the ESRS taxonomy, converting your ESG report into digital format. So those are the offerings from Iris Carbon. But you surely will know more about it in our webinar. Next question is for you, Preetham. Is the anchoring with narrow concept result into validation errors? So if you are anchoring an extension with narrow elements, which is not the practice which is needed now, will it again result into validation errors?
So yes, for the anchoring concept, it is better we are going with the wider concept only. But if there is a choice of putting a narrow concept, it is not going to create any validation errors. But yes, it may prompt you for a warning that whether it has to be going for the narrow concept or not, but it is not going to affect your submission. And as far as you are doing a wider concept anchoring, it is good to have good to go with the document.
Thank you for that answer, Preetham. Just to add a little bit on Preetham's answer, different countries' regulators do have different set of rules as well, internal rules. Although this may not block your filing, but it considers the quality of ESEF documents. So along with the successful submission, you should also concentrate on the quality of the ESEF documents. Narrow concepts, from auditing perspective also, it will be something which the auditors would not like to see, and that is why a wider concept with the extension is something which has to be adopted by the issuers going forward. Will application of a monster tag result in validation error? My God, so many questions on validation errors. So if you're still applying the monster tag, that is the, while doing the block tagging, is it going to result in the validation error?
No, it is not going to impact anything on the validation.
Okay. So which means again it is the quality of the document. Basically the monster tag, removal of the monster tag in my opinion is for ease of reading the ESEF documents, because applying one tag from your note 1 to end of the note was something which was giving a little bit of trouble for auditors also to go ahead and audit the granular level data. And removal of it has indeed been you can say a blessing in disguise. But yes, having said that, the block text tagging is again a crucial part, and the best practices board has given their hierarchy, which states that minimal the granular level or minimal the nested tagging is something which is expected, and it will improve the transparency of the document, and along with that it will facilitate the comparability between the ESEF documents. So that is all about today's webinar. I am sharing my screen with a certain few updates from Iris Carbon. Just give me a minute before we come to an end of this webinar. So we have our resource bank. If you have any questions regarding ESEF compliance, regarding you want to read about our customer stories, or you want to have some knowledge about the recent topics like it is ESG or any taxonomy or the recent updates, we have our blog center, we have our customer stories. You will see Roberto over there with his video testimonial as well with our customer stories. And we also have our ESEF compliance module, wherein you will get all the information about the compliance, how to go ahead with it, and how Iris Carbon can help you to go ahead with it. One most important question, I just read it, like how Iris Carbon will take up the ESEF filing if anyone wants to transition to Iris Carbon platform. So that is an indeed very important question, which I just read. The transition doesn't take time on Iris Carbon platform. What we bring in for the transition is we do the detailed analysis of your IXBRL document. We provide you with a report for your auditors that what tags or what elements should have been used. So it is a quality analysis which is done by our experts. And your last year's zip document is something which gets you ready to get started with Iris Carbon platform. Our Iris Carbon platform is a SaaS-based solution. You need not have anything to install on your machine, just a browser, Chrome, Chromium, Microsoft Edge, and you are ready to go ahead with it. Should you have any queries, please drop an email at info@iriscarbon.com. For our attendees today, we have special 20% off on ESEF sign-up for your 2023 annual report, ESEF filing, and a 50% off on ESG conversion into IXBRL pilots. So these are the trial runs. I know there is a little bit of time for IXBRL, but taxonomy is here. Why not to go for pilots? And we have that offer for you only for the webinar attendees. Please go ahead and let us know if you're interested. We are surely over here to help you out. What's coming next? Please stay tuned with our ESG webinar, which is scheduled on 6th of March, 2024. The details will be shared on our LinkedIn page, Iris Carbon page. Please register yourself. We will be sharing a lot of updates upon ESG, ESRS, taxonomy, as well as standards. The webinar is all about analysis of taxonomy and leveraging the standards to do the gap analysis. So all about ESG with our next webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are at the end of the time, and thank you everyone for your contribution, for the poll. Your answers help us. If you have any queries, please write to us, info@iriscarbon.com. I repeat, info@iriscarbon.com. Please do visit our website, www.iriscarbon.com. Thank you everyone. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Roberto. Bye-bye. Thank you, Preetham.
Thank you, Alfie. Thank you, Roberto. And thank you, everyone.